Now, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can
Great.
see your screen.
Thank you so much. Coresystems is a platform where we like to break it down into really providing those core moments, the real-time service, and customer excellence, and breaking it down 3 ways. The first is the customer experience. What kind of technology and capabilities could they use to generate that real-time service based on their expectations? That could be the IoT that Sanjjeev mentioned. We have a solution called Coresystems Now, and other types of integrations with SAP, etc., that will provide that real-time service capabilities. So we want to, again, create those core moments, and then it can also come back to the back office, your administration, your dispatchers, your schedulers. How can we have a tool or a platform that will empower your employees in the back office to be able to create the job request and schedule the right technician in the real time? And this can go based on availability, skill set, location. Again, we want to make sure we have the best technician that's matched for the job. Not only will you have better efficiency within your own company, but you'll meet the customer's expectations. Then what else can you do? What other tools can you leverage in the platform that will kind of have those wow core moments? And could you use ETA type of notification to not only your customers and technicians of when someone should arrive? Now, the third aspect is your field technicians themselves. And as Sanjjeev mentioned, we have several different options, and a company can move forward with their own employees or their crowd service employees. What information could be in their hand immediately that will help them identify if they're also the right fit for the job based on what they have available? And once they get on site, if they have the information and skill set to be able to effectively complete that job. So that's why I like to break it down into 3 different things. And over the next couple slides, I'll go into more detail about each, and then I'll specifically talk about all 3 in the live demonstration as well. First and foremost is the crowd service. So crowd service is like that Uber-like model. And how can you have and grow your business maybe without even hiring additional employees and the cost of those additional employees? So crowd service helps meet customers' expectations for that real-time service. The Coresystems FSM solution, you can build your own pool of technicians and rely on a powerful AI tool to automatically plan their service requests in real time. So you can build your own pool with, again, the employees that you have today, your current subcontractors, or you can look to expand your footprint out in across North America. If you might not be in a particular location, you can continue and build your crowd yourselves. So some of the capabilities include a configurable onboarding platform to invite your partners and others to become part of the crowd service. So this is where you might not have subcontractors today, and if you do, you actually have a tool to onboard them. Next is to have an intelligent way to schedule and determine the best qualified technician by taking into account their expertise, location, and availability. So through our AI automation tools, this can be highly automated or in a manual process based on what your particular needs are. Crowd workers have the ability to accept or reject the assignments within a set time frame, so the back office knows to ensure not only your employees, but the crowd employees are able to accept that job. The crowd workers are empowered with all the same capabilities as your own employees. So like Sanjjeev said, you want the consistency and expectations that your customers will receive not only from your own employees, but possibly your crowd, the crowd technicians in the pool of individuals you have supporting your service requests. Coresystems Now is a tool, and this goes back to that stage 1, kind of the part 1 of the customer experience. From the customer's perspective, Coresystems Now helps customers help themselves. Customers can scan a QR code or other things like a serial number or other unique identifiers on the device or large piece of equipment. And then you can also have a series of self-service options, or you can schedule an appointment with a technician. So depending on what your workflow is and what the expectations your customers have, what type of equipment, it all depends, but you have some options to set up a self-service or real-time request on site for your customers to request service. So to go down to a little more from a detail capability standpoint, the self-service is a portal, or in addition to a mobile app for troubleshooting the remote service if they can have help remotely on site, or they can schedule the service request right on site. And then they can also use that portal or mobile app to track the service request, whether someone's on their way, if it's a job that takes 2 or 3 days to complete, they can see the status of the completion of that job, and then even the history. So the next thing is to view the history of all of their equipment that had been worked on or for that particular piece of equipment. Again, they can see the open request, the warranty details, technical product data, and other information that you can use to give them their own tool, their own portal where they see their equipment, their information. We have the ability to have an interactive dialogue. We use an AI chatbot to triage and diagnose and resolve the issues. So this is extremely powerful and a cost saver, right, for you as a customer to be able to help a customer help themselves, again, by triaging the problem. It might be a couple quick fixes. You might need a customer to do 3 steps before they schedule a technician on site, and hey, they might be able to fix the problem themselves. Who does that save money? Possibly their customer and yourself for not having to send a technician on site when it can have been resolved with a triage. Again, you can have access to the relevant product information as well. And again, this all goes back to real-time ETA and notifications to your customer. Now, the real bread and butter of field service management is your planning board, and this goes with the Coresystems scheduling and field service dispatch. So this offers the real-time automated workforce for scheduling, planning, and dispatching of your employees or your crowd service employees as well. Our solution has a drag and drop interface, or you can use AI automated assignment, scheduling, and dispatch to ensure the best technician is available for that job. So it all depends on what your needs are. It can be, very manual. If you're starting from not having much process in place today, you might want to take baby steps. But you can be very manual and schedule everything yourselves and drag and drop and release the schedule. Or you can go as much automated as you want through our AI tool. Now, very powerful capabilities is our skills management. So think of your technicians all have certain skills, and if it's a highly technical piece of equipment, they might need certifications in order to have updated training on that particular equipment. You can set some time frames to make sure that they are up to date on those certifications. They might need security clearance. For example, if they're going on to maybe a government site, they might need to have a security clearance and have their credentials available and passed. So they might need to have a skill for that. Another skill could be a language. Maybe your end customer is primarily Spanish speaking, French speaking, have a lot around North America like that. So does your technician also speak the language of your customer? So those are a few examples. We can go down to examples from a customer level and equipment level. We also have the ability to view a map to plan and optimize your routes and know where your resources are. So this is very powerful when a customer is requesting service immediately. You can look on the map of where your customer is, and you can see the closest available technician and confirm what their availability is. And lastly, that technician side of things. So number 3 on the piece that I want to mention, mobile field service gives the service technicians the power on their mobile devices, whether that's iOS, Android, or Windows. And this can be used online and offline. Offline is a requested capability in this industry. In field service, a technician may be in very remote areas or in a large warehouse where service may be poor, whether it's Wi-Fi or cellular service. So some of the capabilities of the mobile app, again, this is an app-based platform, that's why it can handle offline capabilities. It enables technicians with a customer service and parts information essential for the excellence of the job. So what information does your technicians need to successfully do that job? Knowing information about the customer, knowing information about the equipment, about the parts needed, any notes from your administration to be as prepared as possible once they arrive on site. We also have checklists, or what I like to refer to as mobile forms, to capture information, and this could be used for not only a report that's generated to your customer or your back office, but just collecting the data for possible analytics in the future. Other things your technicians might need to do on site would be enter their time for that particular job, enter the materials used, and any expenses incurred while performing the job. And of course, we have electronic signatures and ability to have customer feedback on the app themselves in the field. Now, before I get into the demo, which is the next thing I'm going to do, there's always a workflow that happens. Again, it starts with the customer, and that can, the service request can come in several different ways. Phone call, email, online platform, Coresystems Now portal, Coresystems Now mobile QR code scanning, IoT. It can come in several different ways. So then it will come into the back office, and there may be several different types of jobs that you do. It could, for 3 examples, could be an installation, one could be a repair, one could be general maintenance. So this is all configurable on what types of jobs you have, and depending on the job, there might be certain parameters or things that are different that your technician needs to do. So once you identify what type of job needs to be created, your administration would create the service call, or it would automatically be generated from one of the triggers or SAP, and then your back office will be able to plan. And they're going to plan and schedule the right technician, whether that is extremely manual, like I mentioned, or this can be automated. Again, you can have also additional checks and approval to make sure you're taking one last check. Yes, this is going to be the best schedule for us, and release the jobs to your mobile field. Again, it can be on a smartphone, tablet, desktop, things that I'm going to show. Which I can't show, but you'll see is that your technician will receive an SMS text notification, as well as the customer. You can define your workflow steps. So depending on your business, you can define exactly what steps your technician needs to go through from beginning to end. Again, time tracking, materials used, spare parts, checklists, and other relevant information. So I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to bring up the demo of the solution.
Yes, I'll make you the presenter, Fallon.
Great. And can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. So I'm going to take you on a quick tutorial, and then what I'm going to do after that is going to generate a manual service request and go through the process. So our planning board here, you can see that we like to use colors. Colors will help indicate your back office administration, your schedulers and dispatchers of what is currently going on and what can help them. For example, up here I have an equipment as part that needs to be scheduled for a few days. So you can see that this is blocked off. Marco is actually, if you look at this, is actually on vacation. And because there's lines through it, knowing that you cannot schedule a job for them. So for example, if I tried to drag and drop the job over into a schedule, I get a pop-up saying not allowed. Green means that I have scheduled the technician or the equipment. Purple means that I have moved the job and needs to be planned again, and blue means that it's completed. And then you can see the level of priority, whether that's low, which is green, medium yellow, and high is in red. Other types of colors indicate the type of job. So installation, warranty, repair, or any other unique identifier you can configure and name yourselves depending on the job types you use. You can also see Sev here has a shifted schedule. So he works very early. He is a very early person and needs to get home to his kids at the end of the day before school lets out. So he has an earlier shift. Down here are all the activities that have been created but not yet planned. So for example, we can have the drag and drop capabilities and drag in a schedule something that has yet to be scheduled. You can sort your activities. So you can have a filter to filter out all your warranty jobs, filter out all the jobs for a particular customer. For example, First Energy is an example. You can filter out everything that has IoT that came in. So whatever column you can search for. And you can also click on each of the columns to schedule and search for your right activity. You also have the ability to filter your technicians. Your technicians may have certain skill sets. So for example, up here, I have just technicians versus all my employees or all HVAC technicians, for example. So that will shorten the list to see their availability. Another way you can schedule is just by right-clicking, and you can choose Find Matching Technicians. Over to the left, we have all of the information related to the platform. So you have the service calls and activities, which I'll show you. Your business partners, contacts, equipment, people, etc., are all integrated into the ERP platform in SAP. So you have one place that houses all this information, and through the integration, you have everything fed into the online FSM platform. So from here, I'm actually going to start from scratch. So you can assume that a job can come in several different ways. Again, through IoT, the Now platform, but I'm going to say someone's calling in. So our system is built on Google Material Design. So you can see the little plus sign here, the 3 dots, the 3 lines. It's going to be very familiar. If you're ever familiar with Google Gmail or anything Google related, it will be very familiar to you. So I'm going to start a service call. And for example, I'm going to choose my customer. I'm just going to start typing, called First Energy. And once I chose that, the address will populate, the contact person's information, and I can say this is a repair. The priority is high. They need it repaired right away. And the repair is actually under warranty. So I can change that. The origin that it came in was telephone. And the date and time are just suggestions. So for example, if you're planning something for a month out, you can put this down here as a suggestion, and that will help your filtering capabilities when you're scheduling the job. But right now, I'm scheduling this as urgent, so I'm just going to leave it as is. You can enter information about the problem type, the territory, the leader on site, skills. So for example, because I chose First Energy, they need a valid certificate. And then there's specific First Energy skill set. So for example, they only want the same 3 technicians to come on site. So I have that skill set as an example. You can add notes. So you can say, please go around back, or whatever type of note here. You can also add a link, maybe to a YouTube tutorial of the equipment. And the equipment, our solution will know which pieces of equipment are tied to the company FirstEnergy. So right now I have one on my list. If they have several pieces of equipment, you can show several here. So I'll just show that they have control panels. It will populate serial number, manufacturer number, any other type of remarks. You can also add additional reserved materials if it's relevant to the job. So I'm going to create that. But you know what? This activity, I also want the technician to have a checklist. So if I come down here to this activity related to the service job, there's other pieces of information that I can add. So I can add attachments, other information about contact information, but down here is checklists, those mobile forms. And I can add one. I can search for standard checklist. I'm going to make that mandatory for the technician to complete, and I'll save that to the service request. Now, if I go back to the planning board, you can see that I've created a new service request. And since I have the service request job numbers, I know it's the latest one I created was job number 55. And I'm going to schedule that for Stefan. Again, just drag and drop. You can see I accidentally scheduled it for Oliver. It's telling me Oliver doesn't have the right skills. It'll tell me they're missing half of them. Yeah, I can plan anyway, or I can discard. So I'm just going to discard and actually, again, schedule for the right technician, and that's Stefan. Now, I can change things if I want to, but to me, I'm just going to confirm it looks good, and I'm going to release the assignment up here. So that changed the job from red to green, letting me know that I released the assignment. Now, you couldn't hear my phone, but the technician received a SMS text message letting them know they received a new job. So the next thing I'm going to do is pull up my phone with the Coresystems app. So Coresystems has its own field service application, and I have my system always available for offline capability. So because I'm offline, I want to make sure I'm synchronizing. And you can see that I have a new job available. So it tells me the date. Again, I can change the date if I want to look in advance. It tells me to go to FirstEnergy. Again, I can use Google Maps to get me there the most effective way. The time frame, it's a 2-hour job from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. I know that it's a repair and it's a high priority. Again, FirstEnergy, and here's a quick snapshot of the equipment that I need to repair. So I'll just click on that. And I'm just going to review the information. Okay, I've got a repair. It's for FirstEnergy. I can take a look at the equipment. All right, I can take a look at the address. It can take a look at some attachments. Maybe there's some service level agreements in place. So it looks like they have a bronze level service. Take a look at what requires that. And let's see, it looks like this is a photo of the equipment that I should expect to see. And what's also important for a technician to see, who else has performed repair on this equipment. So your technician is walking into the job as prepared as possible. You can see that there's been several activities over the course of 2 weeks of repairs and diagnosis and additional repairs. So this might be an indicator of your technician that they might need to go a little bit deeper in this time, or even suggest that they replace the equipment. And this could be a sales capability. So I took a look at everything. I'm going to accept the job. So these are the workflow steps down here that are configurable based on what your company's needs are. So this is going to let the back office know that they accepted the job. So once I arrive on site, I can actually click work. I'm starting work. And when I get there, I know there's a checklist involved, so I'll go to the checklist. Oops. And it says, please complete before leaving the job. Again, a photo of the piece of equipment. Was the site accessible? Yes or no. I had to contact the site manager when I arrived. And then the contacts on site, I can say my contact is Mike, the phone number is that, and their email address, possibly. You can have checkboxes, say, is the job completed in its entirety. You can have photos of the equipment. Now, I can't show you the photo, but I'm going to turn on my camera live. So you're going to take a photo immediately. You can choose from your library, or you could take a photo immediately. So I just have my phone up, taking a look at my computer here. And again, you can add date and time. Yep, that's correct. I was there exactly that date and time. And then my own signature or a customer signature. Just using my finger. And the name of the person who's signing. Or about my name, excuse me, my name. And the approval person. And I'm finished with the checklist. Now, what I also need to do is enter the efforts of this job. So the efforts here, I can add additional effort to the plus sign. You can have different effort types. For example, this could just be a standard service. You can enter notes. Complete a job with no issues. You can have things that are for only internal remarks. You can identify if this is chargeable to the customer or not. Again, I think we chose that it was warranty, so I'm going to leave that blank. And the working time, you know what, I ended early, was actually only 1 hour. You can enter breaks and repeat this information if needed. Another option could be doing a stopwatch. Once you arrive, you can start the stopwatch, and when you leave, you can end the stopwatch. Depends on how detailed you really need to be, or if your technicians just need to enter the information. So I'm going to save the effort. Can add additional effort, additional types of effort if needed. And then I'm going to add expenses. Again, the type of expense, it could be whatever you configure this to be. Say they may had to travel far away. It was over the lunch period. They had to buy lunch out on site. Again, we can default the currency, but I'm going to choose US dollars. The internal amount was, say, $20, but you can also choose a different amount to charge to your customer, but I'll just say it's the same. And that was chargeable. You can add media, again, maybe a picture of the receipt. And add additional notes for your expense as well. Again, this could be used for additional materials that you might have to stop, a technician might have to stop somewhere and pick something up, as an example. Materials, for example, this can be materials added that may be connected back to your inventory. And all of that information can be housed in SAP. So the item code, for example, all this information would be all information that you have, and you can identify if it's in stock or not. You can choose my spare part 2, that what could charge the customer. And then you can choose what warehouse it came from. So you can actually choose a warehouse as in a vehicle. So I'll choose it came from Marco's car, and you can add additional notes if you want to. So it looks like it's not in stock. It let me know. So I'll remove that for now. So that's how you can enter material used. And the last thing you can do is enter mileage. So you can say you came from location A to location B, and the distance was 60 miles. The travel duration could be 1 hour and 15 minutes. And you can choose if you're in a particular vehicle, whether it's their own private car, if they had a driver, and if it's chargeable. Again, you can add additional notes here. And I'm going to save this piece of information. So this is everything I need to do on the job. I received there. I took a look at the information about the equipment. I saw that there was previous service history. So when I went to complete the repair, I was prepared to know what I can look into, any of the details previously, went through the checklist. I answered anything I needed to do related to the job. So I'm going to finish. That's everything I need to do. Again, just I have the system coming up, reminds me, make sure you review your effort. Okay, I saved that. And down here, I'm going to hit the plus sign, and I'm going to check out. And checking the checkout process, yep, just going to confirm everything here. And it's making me receive a signature. So you can ask the customer for a signature. And you can actually ask what their experience was like. And you can email the report to Mike Smith. Let's put a fake email address for now. And you can also have the email automatically populated based on the information you have on the platform. So I'll save that. Looks like I've got everything done. I'll save. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to synchronize now. So if you don't want to synchronize, if you're not in any type of coverage to synchronize data, you might want to do it later. But I have the signal, so I'm going to synchronize right now. And what this is doing is generating a report for not only your customer to see, but also for your back office. You can generate two types of reports, one that's customer facing and one that's internal. You might not want to show your customer everything. So again, you can have your logo up here. You can configure what this looks like, but if you can see, it lists out the basic information about the job, the efforts that were entered, any expenses, mileage, the signature, additional notes. And then down here, provides the information about that checklist. So all the items I did on the checklist were also on the report. And then I'm just going to continue to check out. And 100% sure I want to finish everything, I can just synchronize. And this lets the back office know that everything's done on the job. And if I refresh the online planning board, you can see that Stefan's job, the repair job, was actually turned blue, indicating that it's completed. So that is what I wanted to show you. We can always go into greater detail and go into something a little bit more configured. If you're interested in something that's industry specific, going into maybe more of our more configurable type of options. But I'm going to leave it off with reviewing what we went over today. So we want to ensure that we have the high connectivity. How can you leverage the crowd service, IoT, remote assistance, and now all of those cool features to really take your level to that level 5 that Sanjjeev was talking about? Did we ensure that we have all the service operations effectively covered? The service order management, the maintenance and project planning, ensuring you have the right skills and requirements to assign the best technicians to the job, ensuring that you have the workflow and business rules in place that are going to fit the needs of your company and what you need to do, having SLA and contracts, assistance with having the assets and support and parts needed for the job. Again, service execution. How are you able to leverage some other things that we have available on the mobile device that allows for that service excellence and to meet your customers' expectations? And with all that information, you are capturing data. You're able to use analytics and have KPIs, key performance indicators, to understand what your performance is. You can use this to leverage and engage with your customer regarding particular equipment and possibly suggesting that they replace it, or just being identify on service trends that might be happening in a particular location. Again, all the different types of analytics you can from capturing this data. So this is where I want to end it. Sanjeev, if you want to have any further comments before we open it up to questions.
No, I think thank you so much, Fallon. This is a great demo. I guess we'll open the line, and if people have any questions, we can answer. But so let me just